thank you. Thank you so much for deciding to come on here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
That's cool. I liked your skit about the ADHD, and then what I thought was even funnier is the one you did after that. You were saying it's like saying to your friend that has cancer, just try not to have cancer anymore.
It is the crazy,
Um,
like people say crazy shit if they don't have mental health or neurodivergent things. They just like, I get it. It's hard to wrap your mind around, but it's just a
it's just wild,
wild
and
times we live
everyone's so scared to talk about it. I feel, um,
in.
and since we first started talking, I did have cancer, and now don't.
No. Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. So I cracked up when I saw that because I didn't even know. The first time we spoke, I didn't even realize. And then I found out, and then I got it taken out. I got my kidney taken out 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
So
How are
I
you
cracked up when
feeling?
I saw your other one, and it's like, why don't you just tell someone not to have cancer? I'm like, okay. So it's
Well,
been
I'm glad
a
you liked it,
crazy
but
couple of
sorry that
months.
you could so deeply relate. That's very unfortunate. But I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's been a wild couple of months. Um,
I
and it's been
bet.
a cool couple of months for you. You've just got an hour special. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's coming out on April 29th. I'm super excited. That
Dope.
ADHD joke was from a Don't Tell comedy set I shot in it came out in December. And so yeah, I've just been gearing up for this and it's been I just after I hang up with you, I have to go look at the final edit. It's so down to the wire.
Cool.
Um
Yeah. Oh, you mean
so
just with the
that's been
timing?
stressful. Just with the timing, which is how it always goes, but you know, it can feel I'm sure you know with like ADHD because I'm waiting on the editor. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I guess I just have this like I always have this fear of if somebody else is running behind, I'm gonna completely fall apart and like it's all gonna be fine. It's jokes. I'm not curing cancer. Like everyone's gonna be fine if the audio on my special is slightly adjusted or what who cares? But I'm very excited. It's been a
Yeah.
very good year.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I guess like that, it's better to produce something, and actually get it out there. But I guess it can be hard when you're probably relying on quite a big team to put all
It's
the bits
not
together.
that big, but it's just like the nice thing about stand-up comedy itself is I am a control freak and I shouldn't be. It's like I have this part of my brain that thinks I'm type A. I shouldn't be in charge. I'm a mess. But but with stand-up it's like I write the jokes, I get on stage and I perform them. It's all if something falls apart, it's on me, but when you're waiting on other people, it's just that kind of I don't know. I get restless. I think that's pretty. I don't think I'm
Yeah,
too unique in that, but especially with ADHD, it's like trying to
yeah,
find the line of like, I
and
want to make sure I check in, but I don't want to annoy the shit out of you.
yeah, yeah, I get you. And are you
I think
also
you might have
someone that
frozen.
leaves things? Are you a last minute person?
What a terrible part for you to freeze on when
Uh,
I'm like,
he's, oh,
hello? It froze. I don't know what happened.
hello. Yeah.
All
Are
I know is I
you
was like, I don't want to annoy
also?
the shit out of you. And it froze. And I was like, I've done it.
Yeah, yeah. Goodbye. Um, do you always leave things quite till the last minute?
Um, it's like I try not to, and it ends up happening anyways. Like as much as I try to get ahead of
Yeah.
something, yeah, I don't know how to not, honestly. How do people just stay
I
on
don't know how
it's
people just sit down and do the things.
no, or I'll try to like be way ahead of something. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start on this now, and then it'll be so far ahead that there's just missing pieces where it's like there's no point to how I'm doing it too early, where it's like, yeah, you don't have this information and this thing from the person who's booking you. They don't have the ticket
Yeah.
link, and I'm announcing shows or whatever. And then I'll,
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, I should slow
Coming
down
in way
then.
too
And
hot.
then, yeah. And then opposite happens where it's like, oh, I forgot to tell everyone I'm in
Yeah.
their city tonight. Whoops.
Yeah.
It's just
Have you
classic
got a lot of
ADHD.
yeah, yeah. No, I certainly relate to that. And if you got a lot of live, a bit of touring coming up?
Yeah, I'm doing a crazy run in Alaska. So I'm doing a live screening of my special in Anchorage on April 28th because I'm gonna just be up there between these shows. But I'm am doing a bunch of one-nighters back to back on the Southeast Islands of Alaska. So I'm gonna be like landing and showing up to a show and getting on stage, going home, sleeping for a few hours, and getting on like a little tiny seaplane and going back to back to back.
Awesome.
It's gonna be so fun, but it's one of those things where like I just gotta go with the flow. Luckily, the guy who helped me produce these shows, he's gonna be the opening comic, and I told him, I was like, listen, you just tell me where I need to be.
Yeah, and
because
I'll
because
turn
I'm a
up and be
nightmare
funny.
with travel. If you have me like trying to coordinate it, we're gonna be watching a little plane fly away while we're stuck on the island of Skagway. I, but yeah,
Funny.
touring is somehow I've rarely fucked up my touring so bad that it screws me out of shows. I did once. So there's this club called um the Punchline, and they have a few of them around the country. There's one in Philadelphia, but there's one in Sacramento and San Francisco, which are a few hours away from each other by car. And I got booked there for a weekend. I got booked at the Sacramento Punchline, and I flew into San Francisco. I went to the wrong city.
Oh, dang.
Luckily, it wasn't like Philadelphia. They were so close that I rented a car and I just hauled ass and I
You
ran in
managed
like
to get
as the
there.
show was starting. But uh, it shocks me that with my ADHD, I haven't messed up more. But I am at a point in my career where I'm like, I need to get to whatever the next level is where like I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with where my career's at. I make a living, but it's a working class living. I get by, but I'm not over here, throwing out a bunch of bills. But I mean, literally I do throw out my bills so I don't have to pay them. I'm on the run. But I I would love to.
I'm
I'm
just looking
hoping
at
this
the pile
special.
of
Yeah.
mail that I've ignored.
Oh my God, story of my life. And my poor boyfriend is like couldn't be more opposite. The most organized, just to a level of like he's the opposite end of the spectrum basically. And I'm just leaving
Yeah,
piles of
I feel
books
like you
and
need that
notebooks.
as a. I feel like as ADHDers, we need that kind of quality in a partner, right? Otherwise, it would just be a
Oh,
shambles.
we would drown in paperwork if it was two ADHD people. What a nightmare. You'd never go
Oh,
on
it'd be a
dates because
nightmare.
you'd be like, "Oh, I
Absolutely.
thought it was last night." I
Yeah,
it's
and the
yeah.
amount of it's because I'm single and trying to date people, but it's so hard because I feel like a lot of single people at my age are also probably ADHD. And you try and organize a date with these people, and it's like, yeah, sweet as, I'll see you there. And then it's like, oh shit, I can't come because I need to walk my goldfish that day. Or like the most random shit. It's so hard.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, I forgot I made five other plans at the same time. Oops."
Yeah, I've got 7 hobbies that I'm not going to do.
That's
I'm
how I
too busy.
feel lately, where it's like when I'm available, when I'm like really available for something, I'm like, "Oh, I have all day Tuesday open." Like this when we booked it, I was like, "I could do that day." Now I'm so afraid of
Yeah.
like the whole day's open. Did I forget something? I chronically overschedule myself. Why is it open? Like I'm always afraid I'm gonna
Yeah.
remember an hour before a doctor's appointment and be like, "Oh my God." But we
That's me as
press
well. And
on.
I'm so bad at using a calendar as well. So it'll be like, I kind of wing it a little bit. And then I'll get a call and it'll be like, yo, are you coming to this meeting? I'm like, yep.
Yeah, I'm on the way.
But
I'm parking.
I need to start getting better. Yeah, yeah, the traffic's terrible out here in my brain.
Yeah, right in here. Um, oh, I mean, the
Yeah,
amount
I'm
of stuff I'll
understaffed.
put, it's so funny when people who don't have ADHD, when they go, well, just use a planner, use a calendar. And it's like, I have three
Get fucked.
calendars. You think that's going to stop me? I will write it down 8 times and still forget it.
Yeah, I've got
It's,
7 notebooks and I can't remember where any of them are.
I know. And I
Yeah.
have started being very adamant about, I don't even know if this is real. I've convinced myself if I write it down in a physical planner, it commits to the memory more. I don't know if that's true because I've forgotten
I
things I've
believe
written
that.
down. But so now if I'm
I
out and
believe
someone's
it
trying to
commits
make
more, but
plans, yeah, right? I'm like, well, I have to wait till I get home to make plans because I have to look to my planner and people are like, are you from the 1800s? What's wrong with you?
No, I get that, and I feel like it's so much. It sinks into your brain a lot more if you write something down, and
It
I'll do
does.
that. And then I ended up buying a bunch of notebooks because I was like, I need one for like business stuff and one for I don't know, podcast ideas or like whatever other stuff.
I
And I
relate
ended
to
up
this
with
so
like
much.
fucking. I ended up with so many fucking notebooks, and then
Yeah,
I bought a tablet that had a stylus, so I could actually write on the tablet. And then I've got a tablet that's got like it's like 3 a.m. and I'm like, fuck, I think I just invented something. I better get up and write this note in my tablet that I'm never gonna look at again.
the notes app in my phone, the shit that it says in here is I'll write down a nugget of an idea and I'm like, I don't know. I have a note here that just says street team. I have no idea. It's the things I write down, like, oh, that's gold. And then I look at it and I'm like, I don't have the slightest idea what that could even mean.
Yeah, yeah. You've just written down like a couple of keywords of a joke that you come up with. How do
Yeah.
you? I suppose with ADHD, your brain probably ticks away with new bits of content and ideas for jokes and stuff all the time. And is that how you do it? You'll put it in your notes app and forget about them, or how do you remember them?
Very often. Sometimes it's like if I don't sit down and really try to write it out or go get on stage like right away, it'll slip. If I ever come up sorry, if I come up with a joke idea, I'm moving too fast for my mouth. Um if I don't go up that night and try it out, it just gets lost. Like I could be sitting on my couch writing or working on something around this time and go, "Oh my God, this is great." If I don't have a show that night, there's like a 85 to 90% chance it will be months before I go, "Oh, I had that idea I was going to work on," if I ever come back to it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's a gift and a curse though.
Um,
I think, we're lucky we have
I like it.
ideas.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade.
Some people have nothing
I
going
wouldn't
on,
trade.
I think.
That's
Yeah,
right. And you, I just wonder. I
I
just
say
think you
that
must be so
now.
fucking bored. I think a lot of
Yeah,
neurotypical
I
people must
remember the
just it
first
must be
time I
boring.
took, yeah, I'm like, you're, you really aren't thinking about anything? Like, you just have an individual thought and then continue about your day? I remember the first time I got prescribed medication. I was like, is this what it was nice in a way. And, and I was still having the ideas come. It was just more organized, but it was such a difference when I took, Adderall
Yeah,
for the first time. I was like, is this what people it's so peaceful up here? What's going on?
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, you bastards! It's so fucking easy. You actually can can think about things and do them
I was like, oh, I could
one at
actually
a
do
time.
one of the things I think of, probably.
Do you do you take medication for ADHD
No,
or are you
I'm
free
not on
range?
anything right now. I'm just raw dogging life. Um
Yeah,
but it's because I have heart palpitations I developed at some point. Um I don't know what happened, but apparently stimulants can make it worse. So the doctor decided I
yeah.
should stop them. And I've just been, boy, has that been an impact on my life and my weight, I would say. I eat more, but it's fine.
Yeah. After stopping the stimulants.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you
There was like a
tried
bounce back
yeah, cuz
effect.
yeah.
I've been doing,
Were you
oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say were you diagnosed as a child or as an adult?
I was actually diagnosed as an adult. It was years ago in college because I think it's maybe because girls and boys present differently or
Yeah.
for whatever reason, however it manifested in me, my brother got diagnosed young, but he struggled in school. I didn't struggle with my grades. I was able to get everything done and get really good grades until college when you actually have to like focus and lock into stuff
Yeah. I
um
I was exactly
and
the
it,
same in all school. I did really well and I never did any of the work, but I'd always pass the things and I always just felt like I kind of just did enough to not be seen as doing too well, but also not fail. So I just sort of
yeah.
like did it,
It's like I passed the
you know,
test.
and then I didn't
Nobody
get,
cares.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
that's right.
I
But I was
interrupted you.
never
Sorry. Go ahead.
diagnosed as a, that's all right. It's right. It's two ADHDers trying to have a conversation, and we're like, boop, 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 boop. Um, I was only diagnosed a few years ago and had no idea up until I was fucking 36, and it was just so crazy to then figure it out and then just be like, you look back every day and like every day it's like something new I think of that happened in my past or something stupid decision I'd made or some crazy shit that I'd done. Or sometimes I'll think about something and I'll be like, nah, that's actually a real dumb idea and and not do it. So it's real interesting learning about it as an adult, then looking back at your life just being like, what the fuck?
You're like, oh yeah, I did lack all impulse control for a while there. I it's it's interesting because I think for me it was really helpful. I don't know if you had this, but um I just instead of going, oh, it's my ADHD, my brain it works differently than a typical neurotypical brain. For years I just thought that I sucked, like that I wasn't good enough, that I was like, oh, if I just try harder, if I'm not trying hard enough. And it's like I was running myself into the ground being like, no, you're trying the hardest you can. You need a different
Yeah.
system.
You just got to get that planner.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you made a to-do list? It's the
Yeah.
worst.
Fucking, how many to-do lists have I made? How many done
Yeah,
lists
I
have I
have
made?
make a
Not many.
to-do list on a to-do list. It's
Yeah.
the amount of
Buy a new planner.
I know, fix your life. It's
Yes.
wild, but I I do like, I mean, I've been lucky that parts of what I do, it's such a benefit to be able to like free flow and have all these different ideas because it comes out for me on stage in a way that's always been really helpful for my comedy where I can memorize my jokes and have a set list, uh but I'll which is a feat in and of itself at sometimes, I guess, but I'll sometimes a new idea will spark on stage and I can just go off and have these
And you
like
can just wing
magical
it.
fun things where a whole new bit comes from that. Yeah, and I guess it's like a blessing. It's also nice that I found a field where it's more of a help than a hindrance. I do wonder if, because I don't have kids, I haven't ever asked my friends with kids, but I'm like, have they changed the school system at all? Because it feels like they just need a different system. They need like, I don't want to say like a separate class or a separate school, but there's like, I feel like some ADHD kids kind of really got failed in at the school level just because they were trying to force them into like a neurotypical program. And it's like, if they had been able to do
Yeah,
things a
that's
little
right.
differently. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I think if you look at the schooling system hasn't really changed since like, I don't know, the rise of the industrial revolution really, and it's still a
Yeah.
classroom, there's still a bell that goes, there's still a hierarchy of a teacher, there's still, you have to go and learn all these specific things, and then yeah, you get neurodivergent kids that are super smart and super good at things that they're good at, like creatives, I guess like in your field, like writers and also artists and stuff like that, that are amazing at what they do, but they're never really allowed to follow that because they've got to go through this process of learning fucking algebra and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't work for everyone, and I feel like you're 100% right. A lot of neurodivergents are definitely failed by the education system.
Yeah. And I think that's just such a bummer because, you know, uh, I mean, obviously it's a bummer, but it's like, in addition to going through the process of even getting to the point you realize you're neurodivergent, there's so many people who have to then battle this like sort of self-worth insecurity thing they've taken on over the years because it's easy to go, oh, if I'm failing in my classes or I'm struggling in XYZ classes, which are I'm told is like this is a good student, people internalize that. They go, I suck. And it's like, no, you're good at
Own
other
down,
things and
yeah.
you're yeah. And it just fucking sucks, man.
It does suck. And there's a crazy stat about neurodivergence that say by the time we're like 12 years old, we've received like 20,000 more negative messages than neurotypicals because our brains work differently. Someone says, hey, can you go and move that chair or like fucking do whatever this thing is? And your brain looks at it differently. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do the thing. But then someone goes, oh no, you're doing it wrong. And it's just every
And then you're
time.
just
So
like,
then
wrong,
we
wrong, wrong.
yeah, wrong, wrong, wrong. And then every time you have an inkling of any kind of intuition, as ADHDers, I feel like we have ridiculously good intuition, but we don't fucking trust ourselves because we're so used to being
No.
told we're wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I know 1,000% what you mean. I've been thinking about this so much lately. Just because the amount I will question my own intuition and then, or do the thing, do you do this where you go, I might be wrong, but blah, blah, blah. And then, and then you're not wrong. You're like,
Then you're right.
why wasn't I just confident?
Yeah, yeah. And that's why,
Yeah.
because we're just so used to being told we're wrong and sort of put in our place and be like, no, you're dumb, you're wrong. That's not how you do it. So we go, then we think about something and we're like, oh, that I find it in terms of maybe like judging character in people. Like you meet a friend's new partner or something, and you're like, this isn't, this is not going to go well, and you can fucking see it from day one, and they can't see it, no one else can see it, and you're like, nah, I'm not going to say anything. But fuck, sure enough, just about every time you have that feeling about it, it plays out, and it's almost a point. It's like, fuck, I'm not manifesting this, am I? you know.
Yeah, you're like, am I
But I
doing
think
this to
it's just the
myself?
fact that your intuition is right, but we've just got to get used to believing us, going like, yeah, just sort of knowing that, yeah, you probably are right.
Yeah, it's like
Changing that
learning to
mindset.
trust that. It's like a whole different, no, form of, I guess, like
And it's learning to
self-care.
trust yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I think that's
And
what
that's
hurts when I
crazy. I
look
think,
back at, oh, sorry, go ahead. No, no, no. I think there's a delay.
no, no, you go.
Um, I was just gonna say when I have gotten in relationships or friendships where it does end up falling apart and I did know, then there's this extra grief of um I I like abandoned myself on top of everything. Is that instead of listening to my intuition and going, "Hey, this isn't the right person. This isn't your vibe." You just go, "Nah, it'll be fine." And you go, "Oh, no, I was right and I didn't even trust me. Why am I putting these
Yeah.
people above
And
my own brain?" But we do.
we do. And I think it's important to look at all of those kind of experiences where you have been fucked over or let down or hurt by people as experience and as learning something. It's just like, okay, this person came into my life and that's who they were, and I didn't see it at first or whatever, but it just means the next time you see those traits in someone, it's just, like each time you
Mm-hmm.
learn a little bit more and you get a little bit closer to one, to trusting yourself, and yeah, just to learning a little bit more about how to let people treat you, I guess, because I think we are also massive targets for narcissistic people in relationships and stuff. I
Oh
think
yeah.
most of us ADHDers have been through that in a pretty severe way at some point,
Oh,
whether
for
it's through
sure.
work, bosses, partners, friends. It's crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I think you're absolutely right. And it's so easy to take advantage of that. Like, I've never thought about how much of me as a people pleaser has stemmed from my ADHD, but I bet there's definitely like they definitely go together. And
I think
sorry, go ahead.
I think it comes a bit from when someone likes you and someone tries to be like you and kind of accept you and stuff, you're just so much just like, fuck yeah, finally, like, this person gets me, I can be myself or whatever. And you sort of, you want people to give you that as well, so you do end up like mirroring and people pleasing, because you're like, oh, if I don't do that, maybe they won't like me anymore. And you've sort of got to learn to just stop giving a fuck, because who
Yeah,
cares? No
because
one
it's
cares
like,
more
why
than
am
yourself.
I know, and it's like, well, if I'm presenting this I don't want to say false, but not like, you know, not the
Yeah, it's
100%
a
real
mask.
version of me. Yeah. That like if they like that, hey, they don't even like they don't actually like me. They like this version of me. I'm the polished, pretty masked version that I'm letting them see, or B, and maybe worse. I don't know. If they don't like me, I'm like, oh, then I just got rejected for like not that's not even who I am, and but they now they think they don't like me, and it's also it's too much work. It's like I think it comes with
It's
aging.
so
I
much
just am
work.
like, this is it. I mean, I used to be like, I very much would mirror and find myself kind of doing the like going with the flow a little more than I should have. What do you want to do? That kind of thing. And now I'm like, yeah, this is what I do. I don't know. This is what you're getting. It, it's a mess.
Take it or
But
leave it.
yeah, it's like, I'm already going to lose so much time just existing because I'm poor with
Yeah.
my time management skills. Don't waste more of it.
Yeah. And it's the energy as well. Like it's exhausting trying to fit in with humans. You know what I mean? Like that's
It is. It so is. God, I
humans are
used to
weird.
like, yeah, we're all weird. And it's just like, just be yourself and find your people.
Yeah.
I've definitely had phases when I was younger of, trying to be someone I'm not. And it's exhausting. And
Trying to fit in with
I
the
think,
cool kids, doing all the things that they do, and then you forget what you actually really like.
yeah. And it's like trying to, yeah, just trying to be this like polished version of myself that is presentable for like this group of girls or like this guy that I like. And it's like, yeah, you can't keep that up. Like it,
Nah.
it's they're gonna figure it out eventually that I'm a mess. So why are we? I don't know. It is such
Why
a
hide it?
yeah. No, and I realize there's probably some negatives to coming in and being like, I'm a disaster, but it's like, at least you know.
At least you know, I think, and I feel like less people. I feel like more people will accept it than you think, and you think you go your whole life trying not to be a disaster, and then when you realize that you are, you find out that they're a disaster also.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that almost everyone is. And they're like, there is something cathartic about seeing someone else just be like, yeah, this is how I am. You go, oh, at least I go like, oh, you can just do that. You can just like,
you can be like that. In that
you can just
case,
act like that and still exist. Oh, okay.
how do you go with when you do shows? Obviously, you have to, you're really putting yourself out there. You're on stage in front of a whole lot of people, and I guess in some respect, you're doing a rehearsed set that you've practiced, and sometimes you say you'll come up with stuff on the fly and kind of wing it through that. Do you find when you start a show, you come out and it's almost like you're kind of robotic. You're going through your rehearsed stuff, and then you'll come out of your shell like when the audience gets a little bit more comfortable, or after you get a couple of laughs, you loosen up a little bit.
It kind of varies. I wish I could pinpoint what my like actual system is, but usually if I can, I'll be watching the comedian before me and reading the room and like just getting a feel for what the audience is vibing with their set. And if they end up having an interaction, sometimes I'll adjust what I'm going to start with based on if I have a joke that I can go, "Oh, they said this," and sort of naturally segue into an existing joke. Occasionally I'll come up and just real loose like address someone in the crowd that had been interacting with the feature or whatever really quick. I don't like to do a lot of crowd work, but yeah, I don't know. I would say, yeah, you were probably spot on to what I do more often is I come out with a prepared joke and then I slowly start to, not even necessarily slowly, but I loosen up more and get a little more off the cuff because it's a weird thing with stand up. I don't know how to explain it, but I think you'll understand because we're ADHD people. And I think part of what we deal with is like part of the inundation of constant information is like we're reading the room and reading people in a way like we can't even clock with our conscious mind. It's just like we're taking in so much info at once. And as a comedian, you go on stage and you really are reading the energy of an entire, it sounds so woo woo to say reading the energy, but like of an entire room. There's like a
It's true though.
vibe that
It's yeah, I
as you're
get it.
talking, you're feeling like how people are processing things and how people are enjoying it. And even in just very subtle ways, sometimes adjusting to match the energy of the room, even if it's unintentional. But like there is something to be
Yeah.
said about like what the audience is giving affects like the energy I'm giving. If an audience is like wild and amped up, I could do the same jokes to a tepid audience and still have like good delivery, but the energy is just going to be so much bigger and crazier. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like being a conductor of a symphony, but the symphony is a bunch of strangers' uh, emotions, which sounds psychotic, actually. Just like you're like getting people to laugh at different times. It's a weird, it's very strange. But yeah, I usually ease into
And
it
I
and
guess
then,
humor is
yeah.
also so subjective. So there's probably times that you might come in a little bit hot with some jokes that are the audience is not ready for. Have you experienced
Oh
that?
yeah. It's so wild, especially the
I
more
mean,
you talk about like heavy things or like real things. I have a whole set on Hulu on this show Eliza's Locals, and the whole set is talking about mental health and depression. It's where that clip came from, about the you would
oh
never
yeah,
say
yeah,
just stop having cancer. And it went well at the taping, thank God. I was like, I look back and I go, that was like one of my the first taping I've ever done for television. And I was like, that's the set you chose? But that set would, I could go up two different times in a night and have it be electric and everyone's getting, it's like because there's enough people in the crowd who have experienced depression, they've dealt with it. So it resonates with them on a deeply personal level. I could go up to a club a mile down the street, do the same set, and most of that crowd doesn't have depression and they're just going, oh, well, she's sad. And you're like, no,
yeah. And
it's fine.
they're less comfortable about it.
Yeah, and it's like, what are you're
And
if you don't laugh, it's not going to make me less depressed. What are you like
yeah,
it
probably the
is.
opposite if no one laughs.
Yeah, and there's sometimes where I have enough material and experience now where I would say like I I usually don't blame it. I think I can for the most part always find a way to get an audience on board. Maybe I'm shifting away from certain material, going into something a little lighter, going to sillier. Maybe I go darker, maybe I go cleaner, but I have enough jokes because of the amount of time I've been doing it that sometimes with audiences, I can do certain jokes that are just guaranteed they always hit. And I can know about the room just based on their reaction to those jokes. Where, like, there are some jokes where if I do them and the audience is not very responsive, I just go, okay, this is just like a quiet, this is an audience that is not going to be crazy for me. And
Yeah,
what I've learned in like learning to do that and go, just do your act for the audience. Like I'll still commit to having fun either way. I didn't used to. I used to melt down. But what I've realized is sometimes it's like the audience didn't care for your material and they're like, yeah, you just weren't my style. That's not my kind of comedy. But a lot of times they're just a quiet audience and you'll feel like, or I'm like, I ate shit up there and people are coming up after and they're like, oh, we had such a good time. And I'm like,
you were so
could you
good.
tell your
Yeah,
face that? Like, laugh.
yeah.
It's very wild.
I, I saw Theo Von. He came to New Zealand
I love
last February.
Theo.
Oh my god, he was so good. I went twice because two people bought me tickets. So
That's
I went
amazing.
to the first show and the last show,
Oh,
and
wow.
the it was so good. It was so funny. The first show, he kicked someone in the front row. He kicked them out because they were, I'm not sure what they were doing, but they were doing something, and then he's just like, "Oh, you guys have
That's
got to stop that, or I'm
crazy.
getting you kicked out." And then he was like, "Nah, fuck it, you've got to go." And the security guard came and kicked the dude out. But
Was
then
this at an
he
arena or like a
had
theater?
in like a theater, in the
Damn.
theater, so a couple of
I
thousand
just don't know how to
people.
act.
Um,
Damn.
oh yeah, and I was just like, what a dick. I was like, it was such a good show. It was so funny. But when that happened, he like did become like a little bit sort of rattled and really showed like a bit of a human side. And then he was like, fuck, I didn't even know where I was at. And it was so cool to see like that organic moment of like,
Where you're
oh
like, oh, you're
shit,
not just doing the act. This is like a real, yeah.
yeah, this is a real human response to something going on. Um, yeah, it was really cool. Fuck, it was so funny because he came out and the first thing he said was like, I suppose none of you guys have ever seen me walk, you
My
know, and
legs. Or
it's
seeing me
like,
walk.
you're right. We've only ever seen you over. Yeah,
That's so. I was just telling someone
it
about
was
that
so
joke
good.
because we were talking about like the comics who have these big podcast followings. Sometimes, if you do a show with like someone with a huge podcast, the people who come out are like, this is their first comedy show because they're just a fan of that person. And the audiences a lot of times are weirder than people who just like regularly go to comedy shows. And not in a bad way, but they're like listening more because they're used to like listening to the podcast, so they're not quite as
Or
reactive.
they're fans of the
Um,
person. Yeah,
yeah, and so when the first time I saw him say that joke, I was like, "That's brilliant. That's just like addressing, like, yeah, I get it. Your podcast listeners, let's.
that was
Well,
so
I'm
good.
here. It's real." And I was like, "That's such a brilliant
Yeah,
little way to do that because it's so silly and so funny."
yeah. Oh, he's so funny, and I watched a lot of his podcasts and stuff, and I did kind of wonder how he'd get on with the New Zealand audience. But fuck, it was,
How
yeah, it was amazing. It was so good, and it was so good going to the first one and the last one because they were quite different. Like he'd obviously got a bit more used to how our crowd, you know, is going to react to different jokes. So he was visibly like a lot more comfortable and smoother running, I guess, by the last one.
That's such a cool experience that you got to see both because, like, yeah, I can imagine it's night and day.
Yeah, and it was still so funny. Even the second time, like I was still pissing myself at the same joke.
Oh yeah, no, there's comics, him, Bobby Lee. There's comics I see all the time, and they could do
I'd love to see
if they
Bobby
did
Lee.
all
Yeah,
jokes I know, I would still. They crack me up every time. They're like
it'd
cartoon
still be good.
characters. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm going to Eliza I don't know
Schlesinger,
how to
that's
say
who
her name.
produced that
There you go.
depression set I did. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, she's coming at the end of this month to New
Oh
Zealand.
fuck,
So I've got yeah tickets to see her. So I'm looking forward to that.
that'll be great.
Yeah, you'll have to do a tour over here at some point.
I want to eventually. I'm working on it. I'm not thinking
Yeah,
about anything till I get this special up, but I would love to come. That area is the one place I've never, I'm not the one place, but I've done like Europe. I've done some shows in Asia and South Africa, but I've never come to New Zealand or Australia or anywhere in that general quarter of the map. So I'd love to come down
yeah,
there. And I feel like I get interaction from people down that way on my social media. So I'm like, okay, I think I could
yeah.
figure
Oh,
out how to
awesome.
do all right here.
How long have you been? How long have you been doing stand up? When did you start? And did you have normal person jobs before that?
I mean, normal is questionable. In July of this year, I will have been in LA for 15 years, and that's how long
Oh,
I've been doing it. I it's a long, long journey. Yeah, I graduated from college and I worked 3 jobs in Florida just to save up to move out here. And I did a little comedy then. I did some open mics and stuff, and then I just was like, I'm going to Hollywood. Just as a young 22-year-old, out of my mind.
yeah.
Yeah, I when I moved out here, I got a job for the first few years. I was working at a nonprofit doing fundraising and PR for a school for blind and visually impaired children. And then
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it was very heartwarming. The money wasn't great, but it was enough money to survive while I would go to like 4 or 5 open mics a night and just hang out at the comedy store afterwards and watch everyone go up at late night and just take it all in. And then about 2.5 years in, I started getting a little traction, enough to leave my full-time job. I mean, barely, but I somehow managed to make it work. Yeah, I just started getting to a bunch of festivals. A couple comics had me start opening for them here and there, and then later that year, I think it was 2013, I got into a festival in Switzerland that flew me over, and that felt like, you know, it's one of a million things I've done at this point that are all little tiny things. But at that moment in my career, I was like, I'm being flown to Europe to do comedy. This is crazy. And it still is. It was such
Awesome.
a great opportunity. But that was kind of, I think, the moment I decided to be like, okay, I mean, I guess I was already all in, but it's been an uphill climb. There were a couple years where I had odd jobs, probably until like 2016. I was like, a Lyft and Uber driver, and I temped at a plastic surgeon's office at the front desk and would like walk dogs. I would just do anything just to make enough money
Just
between all
random.
the yeah, because I was like headlining bowling alleys in Central California. Like it was it was dog shit money, but it
Yeah.
was but I got to go up and do like 45 minutes to an hour and just do the thing I love. So I've made it
Yeah,
work. It's
no,
been a
that's cool. I think it's such a big thing for ADHDs to be doing their own thing and not be working in a job for working for someone else. I think
I
because
could never
we're
go back
all
now.
probably quite
I
creative. Yeah.
yeah, I like I God forbid something happens where I don't know what could happen. I don't foresee myself getting canceled, and I don't think that's real in comedy anyway. But like, if for some reason I had to go
Not
back to a
anymore.
9 to 5, oh, I wouldn't make it. I would die in my cubicle.
Yeah. Well, I guess the one thing about being a comedian, it's like you can't undo the trauma that made you funny. You know what I mean? So
No, so
it's
you might as well
still
use it.
you're
Yeah.
you're not gonna become unfunny. I feel um, that's so cool
It's
being able to follow a dream and do that. I feel the same. I don't think I could ever go back to having a normal job that I had to go to an office and work for someone else. It's just too. It's just
no.
no, not. It's just
Yeah, if
not
I
my
had my own
jam.
office, it's my own creativity, fine. But like, I just couldn't. I feel like it's like being put in a cage in some ways. Not to, you know, that maybe that's dramatic, but it's just
Well, it
like,
is because it's not really. It kind of is what it's like because I think when yeah, it is what it's like, and it's kind of what everyone does when you go to school and you're kind of taught how to. School kind of shows you how to be in a workplace, and that's like the normal thing to do. And then you get
yeah,
neurodivergents that are like, hang on a sec, I'm smarter than this. I want to do things this way. I want to do something else. And then when you go into like a normal job, all you're getting done, all that's happening is you're just being told what to do and how to do it. And
yeah.
that for neurodivergents, that's not fun. We don't like that.
No, that's hell on
We've got a
earth. And
better
I'm just
way.
like, no, right? It's like I'm sure there are neurotypical brains that like thrive in that. I think there's something to be said about I
Yeah.
do sometimes the one thing about doing what you like really love for a living, as many like positives as there are, it's like I'll I'll accidentally work myself to death because I don't want to like I have this idea, I have this, I have to keep going, I have to keep putting things out, I have to keep writing and getting up and like so there are moments where I go, I envy people who clock out and they don't think about work for a fucking second after they just go, day's done, gonna go live my life. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I never stop thinking about my career. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the same. It'll be like 10 o'clock at night and I'll have like some inspiration to do something. Like I build websites and do digital marketing and stuff and obviously do the make memes
Yeah.
on
You're
Instagram and
good.
stuff
You're
like that.
great at it.
It'll be like 10 o'clock at night and I'll be like, oh shit, I should do this. And then I'll be like up working till like 1 o'clock, you know what I mean? And then I'll sleep until 11 o'clock the next day because I ain't got nowhere to be.
Because you can. And that's what's great. And I've
And
even
it
had
works.
to like learn to adjust like letting myself go with those flows because there's still that conditioned part of my brain, even after all these years, that like I'll try to have like a normal person schedule. And it's like, no, if you're inspired at 9:30 by an idea you want to write, don't go to bed and go, I'll get to it tomorrow. You're lying to yourself. You will
You will
forget the
not get to it
idea.
tomorrow.
Yeah. It's like if I don't
100%.
do it now, it's gone.
Is that how you do most of your writing when you're coming up with jokes? Is it like you will think about something, then you're like, oh fuck, then you're sitting down at the desk for a couple of hours putting ideas down
Yeah, it's I
as they
mean,
come?
it's not always like that. Sometimes it's just like a little nugget, but it's all of my best ideas, all my best work is when I do that, when I go, no, let me sit down right now and work on this idea. It's because I don't know if it's like this for you when you start working on something, but it's, you start working on that one idea and that just starts this kind of like spider web of other like light bulbs going off. And you're like, oh, I could go this direction or this direction. Where
Yeah.
it's, if I just wrote it down and got to it later, I'm going to go, oh, that was kind of a funny idea, I guess. But yeah, I still make the mistake sometimes because I have a boyfriend who has like a very typical work schedule. And so sometimes I'll be like, he's going to bed, I'm going to go to bed. And it's like, I could work on this thing that's really like on my
Rolling
mind.
reels for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's nice to
Oh,
be in a
awesome.
position where you can just go with that flow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I find the same, and I feel like a lot of creatives are probably like that. Like it'd be hard for me to go, all right, I'm gonna go and make memes from 10 to 11 tomorrow or something. Like, nah,
Yeah,
I'll
because
do it
I
when I
can't
get the
force
idea.
it. Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing's worse
Yeah.
than sitting down and trying to be creative and just being like, something will come to me. That's when, by the way, a
Yeah,
million
that's
ideas
right.
at all moments, and then suddenly it's like, oh, my brain has never been more clear.
Yeah. All of a sudden everything's peaceful and quiet
Yeah. Oh, all the ideas have left
at the
town,
worst
it
possible
seems.
time.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I've
Yeah.
lost it. I'm no
My
longer
creative
funny.
team is on
It's yeah.
holiday.
Yeah. So real.
Oh man. What else do I want to talk about? Yeah, I don't know anything else. I feel like we've done like over 45 minutes. I feel like that's a good length of time for
I think
for
that's a
people
great
with
length of time.
ADHD.
I
I
do just
find
want to
like
say, yeah,
I
I
find
mean, go ahead.
I was going to say I find like getting to that kind of time is probably the amount of time ADHDers will listen, but also
Yeah,
like a good amount of time to actually have been staying on track and having an interesting conversation.
I'm proud of us.
Yeah, it's awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It's been a really fun chat. And I hope you come to New Zealand and tour.
I hope I do too.
And
Thank you for having me. I'm glad we connected. I love the memes you put
tell
out
us
about
again.
ADHD.
Yes, I'm glad.
Sorry.
And tell us again on your special is coming out on the 29th of April. And where can we watch
Yes.
it?
Just go to punchup.live/JMS. It'll be there. You just subscribe, it's free, and you
Okay.
can watch it. Watch the whole thing.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to it. And again, thank you so much for joining. And we will talk again sometime. And I will see you when you tour New Zealand.
Yay! Thank you for having me. This has been a blast.
Awesome. Cool. I don't really know how to end these. I don't do heaps of them, but
I just don't know. Do I leave? So I have to leave the room open? I mean the window?
I think you can. I think you can leave the room, but then just
Or like
leave
leave the
the. I
Descript
think
like browser.
yeah, just leave the browser thing there, and I think it will show somewhere on the screen. It says it does say on here 100% uploaded. So yeah, I think it'll tell you when it's done anyway. But if yeah, just don't
Okay.
close that browser window.
All right, awesome.
Awesome.
Well,
Thank
thank
you
you for
so
having
much.
me. This was awesome. I will
All
talk to
good.
you
We'll talk
soon.
soon.
Tag me and stuff, and I'll share it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I'll let you know before I'm gonna share anything. We don't want to share any weird shit. So
All
I
right,
think we'll
sounds
get
good.
some cool. I think we'll get some cool shorts out of it for
Yay!
Instagram. And I'll put the full length one on YouTube.
All right, awesome.
Oh, hello.
My
Who's
dog
that?
just started bothering me. This is Moki.
Oh, yeah. Cool as. All right. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Bye.
All right. See ya. Bye.
I'm trying to hang up, but it won't let me, I swear. Okay.
Oh, okay. It says your recording will stop once you leave. Oh, yeah.